The trunk of Ganesh. Section I. Answer the following questions. Number 1. Soon after his birth, what did Govinda Maharana do? Answer. Soon after his birth, Govinda Maharana took a glass of tea from his wife's hand. Question number 2. Why was he anxious in the morning? Answer. His fingers suddenly slackened and the glass slipped from his hand when he took a glass of tea from his wife's hand. It was then he became anxious and had his first conscious knowledge of the fear he carried. Question number 3. What does Govinda Maharana trade? Answer. Govinda Maharana's trade was of ideal making. Question number 4. What was bothering him since last 3 days? Answer. Since last 3 days, he had faced unhappy incidents. He thought of the strange thing that happened to the trunk, Ganesh ideal which he had made. Question number 5. Why did Govinda Maharana give reasons for the breaking of the trunk? What are they? Answer. Govinda Maharana was worried and had many thoughts in his mind. He thought that he had been misusing his power carelessly. He also thought that he was not making ideals the way his father used to do. Question number 6. Sulochana did not want to question him for his work. What is the reason behind this? Answer. Sulochana knew that her husband was one of the best image makers in the valley, so she did not question him for his work. Question number 7. What thoughts did come to Sulochana's mind when the trunk broke again on the 3rd day? Answer. Sulochana thought that her husband had become greedy and asked for more money for the Ganesh ideal. Question number 8. Do you think Govinda Maharana had become old and his hands and eyes were not strong enough to prepare the day for the ideal? Is there some supernatural power playing the trick? Let's read to find out. Answer. No, I don't think Govinda Maharana had become old and his hands and eyes were not strong enough to prepare the day for the ideal. And I don't think there was some supernatural power playing the trick. Session 2. Answer the following questions. Question number 1. How old was Govinda Maharana? Who were there in his family? Question 1 row answer. Govinda Maharana was 61 years old. He had a large family of 8 members. He had his wife, 3 sons, eldest son's wife and his 2 children. Question number 2. Was Govinda happy with his eldest son? How did he spend his day? Answer. Govinda was not happy. Govinda was not happy with his eldest son. His eldest son spent his day by finishing ideal in Mahanadi. Question number 3. List the changes that had come in the designing of the day figures. Answer. There had been a subtle change in the designing of the clay figures. I had eye-catching new apparel and the sets of luminous serpent. Question number 4. Who was Ranju? What was his contribution to Govinda's family? Answer. Ranju was Govinda's youngest son. He followed his father's footsteps and took interest in his idol making. Question number 5. Where was the idol placed? Why did Govinda keep the idol there? Answer. The idol was placed close to the open window, only a meter away. He kept the idol there because he thought that the idol was get more light and the wet clay would dry soon from the wind. Question number 6. Why did Ranju request Govinda to close the window? Answer. Ranju thought that it was because of the wind. The trunk of the idol was breaking, so he requested to close the window. Question number 7. Did Govinda think that the wind was responsible for the breaking of the trunk? Answer. No. Govinda did not think that the wind was responsible for the breaking of the trunk. Question number 8. Who could be the destroyer, the wind, or the anger of the god, or the hands of the supernatural elements? Session III will solve the mystery. Answer. I think the destroyer of the idol was something else. Session 3. Answer the following questions. Question number 1. Why did Govinda tell his son to sit in the workroom? Answer. Govinda wanted to know who the intruder was, so he told his son to sit in the workroom. Question number 2. Why did he choose that particular place to sit? Answer. He chose that particular place to sit because from there they could observe the door, the window, and the image at the same time. Question number 3. Was Ranju awake while through the night? Answer. Ranju wasn't awake while through the night. He fell asleep. Question number 4. What was Govinda thinking in darkness? Answer. Govinda was thinking about who the intruder could be. He even thought that it could be an act of supernatural. Question number 5. Who was the intruder? How was it coming into the room? Answer. The intruder was a cat. He was coming into the room from the vertical bars of the window. Question number 6. Why did Gobinda Maharana smile at the end? Answer. Govinda had numerous thoughts about the intruder, but when he saw that the intruder was a cat, he smiled at the end. Let's write. Answer the following questions in about 50 words each. long question answer hobo. Question number 1. Why was Govinda Maharana worried? What thought came to his mind? Answer. Govinda Maharana was worried because the trunk of the Ganesh ideal he had made was broken. His mind was full of thoughts, especially of the superstition. He first thought that he had no right to interfere in the private lives of the gods. Then he thought that he was not as good as his father, who made best idols. He also thought that gods were angry with him and thus they punished him. Question number 2. What were Sulochana's reaction to the breaking of the trunk? Answer. Sulochana was a good woman and trusted her husband's hard work. When Govinda told her about his situation, she too got worried. She thought that it was because of his age. He was not able to make the idol the way he used to make it. She thought that his eyesight was getting weak. Question number 3. Why was she proud of her husband? How did she value her husband's work? Answer. Sulochana was proud of her husband because she knew that he was one of the best idol makers in the town. She often heard people praising about her husband's art of idol making. She knew that he was one of the few best craftsmen left in the town. She kept her pride in secret. Question number 4. Was Govinda Maharana superstitions? What proof do you get from the story? Answer. Govinda Maharana was superstitious when the trunk of his idol broke. He had many thoughts in his mind. First, he thought that he was doing wrong by interfering the private lives of the gods, and then he thought that he was being punished by the gods. Even at the waiting for the intruder, he think about that it could be some supernatural power that had been breaking the trunk of Ganesha. Question number 5. Who helped Govinda in repairing the trunk? How did they differ in their point of view regarding the breaking of the trunk? Answer. Ranju, Govinda's youngest son, helped in repairing the trunk. He maintained the broken trunk and made it beautiful. Both Govinda and Ranju had different opinions regarding the breaking of the trunk. Ranju thought that it was because of the wind the trunk was breaking, while the other Govinda thought that it was not because of the wind but it was because of something else. He did not agree with his son's view. Question number 6. Govinda Maharana thought of many reasons for the broken trunk. What are they? Answer. Firstly, Govinda thought that his interference in the private lives of the gods is the reason behind the broken trunk. Then he thought that gods were punishing him. He also thought that there are some supernatural that was playing some trick with him. He then blamed himself for charging extra money for the ideals. Question number 7. How did Govinda solve the mystery? What did he find? Answer. Govinda was wanted with many thoughts. He thought of many reasons behind the breaking of the trunk. Then he decided to stay back with his youngest son and see who the intruder was. He chose the place from where he could see images of the intruder. But to his surprise, he saw that the intruder was a cat. It was coming from the vertical bars of the window. Activity number 1. Discuss how the superstition created problems in Govinda Maharana's life. Answer. Govinda Maharana was one of the best image makers in his town. People appreciate his art. Govinda was a hard-working man, but his superstition created problems in his life. Once the trunk of his Ganesha ideal was broken and his mind was full of thoughts. He thought of many things which were especially based on superstition. He first thought that he was interfering in the private lives of the gods. Then he thought that gods were punishing him. His youngest son put forward his opinion that it could be the wind that broke the trunk. But Govinda did not agree with him. He thought that there could be some supernatural powers that were planning tricks with him. His superstition thoughts made him not see the practicality of the life. Even his life was disturbed by his unwanted thoughts of superstition. Number 2. The traditional art of ideal making is dying. Discuss in the class and note down the reason for the near extinction of this art. Answer. Indeed, the traditional art of ideal making is dying. In reality, the ideal making is one of the fine arts that show the creativity of the makers. There are many reasons why this art is at its near extinction. The artist or craftsmen don't get enough money for their art. Most of the craftsmen tend to have a poor economic background and they need money. Making ideals is the only livelihood they have. Also, nowadays people are taking less interested in taking ideals. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel, like, comment and share.